Good evening, everybody, and let's try this again. Welcome to Paranormal Question Today, Saturday edition with Paranormal Exposures. We'll be right back, right after the intro. And we are back. Wow, look at this. Look who I got here with me tonight.
And we're working.
and we're working.
And it works.
So, William and Kat, how are you doing tonight?
We are doing really good. We were having some technical difficulties that required me to
Hey, Lori.
uninstall stuff on my computer to be able to do this today.
See?
Going.
That's how it works, doesn't it? That's how it works. So we got Lori coming in, and we'll have who else we got coming in? We have Mr. Bill. Speaking about Bill, there he is.
Location on the live show. Told us.
Yeah.
It's not actually the location. Told us.
Oh, William.
The location is following us. So yeah, so Friday's show kind of got off to a weird start before we got started with the equipment and stuff, and bite me. Hi, Carmen. Hey, Patty. Oh, it's funny. Hey, Vet, how you doing? And Carmen, Phillies game 6 series. Ooh, it's getting serious now.
I agree, Lori. We need to get up that way. We definitely do.
We have
Yep.
a plan for next year. You know,
So,
we're working through our list for next year to like the places, locations we also want to go to. Also, they have in mind also the places we've been to before, and we've been back to. So we'll be with you. Don't worry.
Yeah, we all gotta get up there and do that location again. Like I said, I'm going next weekend, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. Can't wait. I'm excited. Try the balloon effort again. So
that might work there. I think that there's a chance that would work there.
I think so too.
William can spend the night with Ed. I love that.
I mean, no, I'm home to, you know.
So yeah, I think that there's enough activity at Washara that the balloons have a good potential of having some interactions there.
I think so too. I definitely think so. Especially in the children's room. I think they'll do a really good job in there. And she's headed to Fort, what was it, Mifflin, is it? Yeah, Fort Mifflin. Yeah, Mifflin. That's a cool place, yeah. So, other than that, so tonight we have our recap of Edinburgh Manor, and then we'll end it with talking about Brodhead Manor, because that was the second place we were at. So, Edinburgh Manor.
Paranormal party.
Paranormal. Oh, yes, have a paranormal party. Yeah, that'd be fun. So, finally,
Yes.
I get to Edinburgh.
Okay.
After such a long wait of getting there. Frickin' COVID killed the first attempt. And, oh yeah, by the way, everybody say hi to Felix.
Hi, Felix.
So,
Wave, Felix. Move that hand, Felix. You can do it.
she's saying hi to everybody else. So initially getting to that building, let me tell you that building is nothing like. It's hey Scott, there's another teammate right there, and just getting to that.
All right.
Maybe so, I don't know.
It does look like one of her eyes is goofed up on camera, so.
Maybe she's just got the stink eye at me right now.
That's a good question, Carmen. For 2023, it has gone up to $250 for 5 people, or $50 a person after that. So it did take a little bit of a jump of an extra $5 a person for 2023, which isn't too terrible. But yeah, $250 for 5 people, and then an additional $50 per person if you're over 5.
That's not bad.
Just
Not
tell
bad
them
at
you're
all.
4 years old.
What's that?
Just tell them you're 4 years old.
4 years
Yeah.
old.
Right.
William acts like he's 4 sometimes.
Hey, that's easy to be done. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Hi, Mark. What's up, homie?
Would you take a bath in the big
In the
tub?
big tub. I don't think
He
we'd
would
be
if you were there with him, Mark.
If I was to take a bath in the big tub, I would probably just sink under because I'm that small, you know. So I'd be like this tiny little floater.
There's a lot of bathtubs in that place.
There is. So each floor has, like, on the end wings, a large bathtub on both first and second on each end of the women's and men's wing. So there's 4 of those large bathtubs, and then there's another central located bathroom that has like a more modern tub. Like, I wonder if that was a staff bathroom or something. And then there's that tub in the bathroom downstairs that's a more modern tub also. So there's six total in the building. That's a lot.
I think so, yeah. And I you know, I did a TikTok as to would you take a bath in this place? Didn't get very many answers, but
Mark would do it.
oh, I'm sure.
I bet.
But yeah, my initial thought coming up to the place was Ice Cube. Yeah, it was pretty big. I mean, I just like wow. You see it in pictures and all that stuff. It looks even more bigger on pictures with the with the wide angle lens. But
Yeah.
getting there, it's just like holy crap. It's like I had to just go around the whole building, look at the whole building, just analyze it and all that stuff. It's just like okay, this is real now. We're here, you know. And get inside, I felt pretty comfortable as soon as I got inside. It wasn't too bad. And then we did our tour,
Yes.
which I got touched in the face in the hallway on the right side of me, not the left, but the right side. Came across, hit my face, and then
And
hit.
we got to talk to Jerry.
Yeah, got to talk to
It was
Jerry.
really cool because he's been coming through really regularly for me.
Hmm.
And the fact that he actually like said his name for you guys, that just was like really pretty sweet. So
Right, absolutely. And then I never got him anymore the rest of the night, which is kind of interesting. What else? Oh yeah. So then during the tour, like I said, I got touched in the face and all that stuff, and then we went to the boiler room, and it was no bueno for me.
The basement in Edinburgh Manor has a whole different feeling to it.
I mean, even in the daytime, the basement didn't feel all that bad, honestly.
right.
Just getting to that boiler, the boiler room was it hit me a little differently, and that's where I was like, no, not tonight. I'll have to do this another time and face that fear the next time, because normally I would go in the boiler room and have no problems, but like I said before, like I was telling William, I felt that something was in the corner in a far, far left of the room on the other side of the boilers,
Mm-hmm.
where I felt that if I was in there, that something was going to come and pounce on me.
Yeah.
So I did not like that feeling, so that's why I chose not to put myself in that position that night.
It was an odd night. I mean,
It was.
It was very different. I know we started out with like full team in the basement, and then we kind of split from the laundry side and the maintenance side,
Mhm.
and we were getting activity. I mean, we were getting the tripwire getting some hits. The Eddie was getting hits on it. We were getting a lot of voice phenomena over on the dining hall side. I don't know what all was happening on your guys' end.
I was getting voices and knocks.
But yeah, it was, and then all of a sudden, Mike ended up coming through down to our side, and then you guys got distracted with something in the boiler
Yep.
room, and then Mike's girlfriend got scratched,
Yeah,
Right.
because,
and that was unexpected and very like we didn't realize it right away, and then here she had this mark on her back, and I was like, wait.
and then we're like,
Yeah.
it was like that moment you just forget because you're kind of getting pulled.
Yeah.
Like string cheese, you just pull it apart, and we're all going each little different section and white.
It was odd because it's just like I was sitting there and it's just like I gotta go to that boiler room. It was calling me to go to the boiler room. And it's just like the next thing you know, I'm like, William, come here. I need you to come to the boiler room with me because I didn't want to go by myself. Which normally I don't have a problem with it, but like I said, during the tour, I had a problem with it right away. So at that point, I have to grab somebody else with me in case something else happens. And then we left her alone by accident, and I'm like, oh, shit. So when she started screaming, we both started running back.
Yeah, it was not even a minute.
It was like, it was that short at a time. And then we're like, oh, wait a minute, she's sitting there. We heard it. I think we heard her shouting for somebody.
Yeah, she was asking for Mike to come back, and it was like,
right.
Oh, wait a minute.
And also, Carla, I think, was sitting next to her. When we all get set up, I think Carla.
And I don't know where Carla went. But yeah, it was just an odd.
And we get back there, she's sitting there by herself. I'm like, oh, where did everybody go?
Right. And that basement does pull you in different directions. It don't care who you are or how many people are down there. It's going to pull you no matter what. You got to have the strength to say, no, not right now. We'll have to do it later, But the pull is strong with that one down the basement. It's strong.
And the thing is, sometimes it's like what we had that night, and sometimes it's completely quiet and nothing.
Right.
And that's what blows me away is you can go from one extreme to the other, from one night to the next.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know what to expect the next time we go in. We're going to be there in a week. We're there this coming Friday.
Right.
Is it going to be the same, or is it going to be a completely different feel?
And the thing is that the laser grids shut off about 3 times. It killed it. And I'm like, well, how often does this happen? I mean, honestly, you can't have a laser grid kill like that so often. Those batteries gotta last a lot longer than that.
Well, they do. They last full nights at some locations.
Right. So it's like mine was getting funky, but I don't know. I mean, but we were down there, like I said, during the early hours. We were down there, and then we each took our tours a little bit, and everybody started splitting up, doing their own thing.
Yeah.
It's a place that I'm going to straight out and say it, beginners. You don't take. It's for beginners. It's going to be hard unless you got somebody that can babysit you and make sure you're okay. Then I don't have a problem with it. You know what I'm saying?
So, can I ask you a personal question, Darren?
Yeah.
Right off the back. Is it something that still affects you?
The place?
Aye, the place is not like an actual attachment or anything, but it just the way it affected you that night. Is it something you still think about?
I still think of it, and why. It just felt weird. It's just a feeling that. It was a very strong feeling that something was just like right there. It knew I was there. It was watching me. It knew what it was planning on doing. Like it had a plan. And I just felt like that's what affected me. It just got so strong, and I just couldn't deal with how strong it got. So that's why I decided to say, no, I don't feel any evil presence there. It's just it wants to take over you sometimes. And I feel there's nothing evil in that place at all. It just wants to know that you're there. It's there. I don't feel any evil threats. Like it's gonna,
It depends on the day. There are things that have been very dark that have happened in there. Sure. As far as paranormal, not like operational. I'm sure there's dark things that happen to operating as well, but there are things there that are not human spirits. Carmen says a trickster. There is a guy that they do call the Joker. I don't use that name when I do investigations. We don't even ask for that name. We generally just investigate like it's another entity of the building. But we do have very able-bodied spirits down in the basement that do a lot of touch and movement of objects, a lot of poltergeist activity. People have gotten some weird laughter from the gentleman that's down there. But it isn't, those things are part of there is a gentleman down there that is a human deceased person. But also the other things. We have ceiling crawlers. We have whatever the dark thing is that travels between parts of the basement and through the stairwells and, has room of the building. We didn't get a whole lot of that energy when you were there. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that's why you also didn't like the boiler room.
Yeah, it was just something. Normally, I don't go in with any fear with any place. When I got there, I was fine. Got to the basement. Basement's a whole different element. It's a maze. You can very get lost down there. And
Mark, very interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maintenance room is its own thing.
Yep. And I didn't stay in there long, and I never went back the rest of the night. So,
doppelganger is what Carmen means. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a doppelganger.
No,
it doesn't mean it can't happen either, because it can certainly happen.
I haven't had that experience there myself, but we have a lot of weird things happening lately. We have, something is doing voice mimicking now, where it sounds like part of my team is there when they're not there, and I know that Heidi's not there because I'm there doing a tour by myself, and nobody on the tour sounds like Heidi, and I'll hear Heidi's voice in the hallway.
Yeah.
Something, it's not just Heidi. It's like I've had, and it calls out people's names, and it's, there's a lot of names being said now, and it's just a lot. Like, it's different every time we're in there. I'm in there like 2 to 3 times a week. It's different every single time I'm in there. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. And doppelgangers is nothing new. I mean, I've heard it when Cynthia and Raven Rose were at Sally's house. So that was my first experience over Facebook Live. But no, the place is a maze down in the basement, so you got to be careful where you go in the basement, because if you get yourself lost or you get yourself cornered and you got something that's chasing after you, well, then you're kind of screwed, So it's best to go down with somebody else that's down there that knows their way around really well.
Yeah, anytime you go to the basement, I agree with you. You want to go down there with somebody. At least one person, at least have at least one walkie-talkie with you.
Unless your cat that works there and does it alone all the time.
Which, as she says,
it's, for me, I walk the basement. I've solo walked the basement. I actually, at the tour that I just had on Thursday, the one gentleman, it was kind of funny because he's like, "Thank you so much for sharing everything that you know, and you have one hell of a scary job, but I don't know how you do it." And then he shook my hand and left, and I'm like, "That was awesome."
Yeah. Well, I mean,
scary most of the time.
The next day, I did go down and take some photos and whatnot for my TikToks. So I did go down there by myself for a while, but at that point, I knew where I was going.
And it's different in the day.
Yeah.
There's been days there in the daytime, and like the hallways are still pitch black, and it doesn't make sense because there's windows.
Mm-hmm.
We have that too. But there's days that, like, I've sent you pictures. I've shown you video of that.
Yeah.
Oh, the picture you showed me of the maintenance room.
Yeah.
Just outside that you took. I think it was like maybe 5 in the afternoon, and it's pitch black. You can't even see the room. I'm like, you still get at least a bit of light in there.
Yeah.
You can make it party, but it's just a wall of black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but it's a place that you gotta constantly go and just still get familiarized with it, get your feels, because it could be different the whole next time you go, just like what Kat has said. After, I mean, I went through some of my EVPs, and let me tell you, I have gotten a lot of Cat Class A EVPs from that place. Now, it's like, I've never gotten so many Class A's besides going to the museum up in Watoma. And I've gotten some there too. But this place gave me a few more Class A's. And it's just weird because it's just out of sequence as to what was going on. And, later on, I think I'll do a show where we'll just play EVPs. If you got yours and I got mine, we'll just display it on there and just play it, That way people can understand what we're doing and they can make out what they think they hear.
Right.
But later on, I mean, the building got okay, going up to the middle floor, first floor, second floor, Again, I felt at ease. I didn't feel any problems up there. Things were okay. I even did the children's room by myself for a while on live, and what's just so funny because the children's room, and I even opened up a locker because they have a whole section of lockers in there. I opened up a door to see if they could slam a door or not. So I was given its opportunity. It was just quiet. I couldn't get nothing to move. Couldn't get not even a kick in a ball, moving a car, nothing. I could get nothing. And then when I left, because Mike and his girlfriend were leaving, so then I walked out for about 15, 20 minutes or so, and then that's when the room came alive.
Yes.
Knocks here. I mean, I probably got 10, was it 6 or 7 knocks? Maybe heard a voice. Yeah, it just, and that's what happens with some rooms because you're pouring your energy into that room trying to get something to happen, and it says, I don't think so, not for you. We're not going to do it for you. But since you leave, it does.
Mind that expression that the building is always active when it's unattended.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how Edinburgh Manor works,
Right.
I think a lot of the things with Edinburgh are that it's always
Hey there.
It's always around the corner from where you are.
There's Taryn, I think.
Hey, Taryn. But I feel like, when you're putting all of your heart and soul into an investigation in a room, everything's around the corner. It's out the door. It's in the hallway. It's in a room nearby.
Right.
It's very much not being presented to you directly there.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of do this hide and, cat and mouse. They're very cat and mouse there. And that brings us to that double Estes that we did.
That was fucky.
I finally got to watching it. So when I partake in an Estes and I'm the one in the blindfold and the earphones, you concentrate so hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tom Springer.
Hey, Tom.
Oh, hey, Tom. How you doing?
It's not. It's Tom. Hi, Tom. Everybody's saying hi to Taryn. Tom.
It's Tom Springer.
Tom changed his name.
Taryn is actually on investigations right now, so
that's what I was kind of surprised. But so we were doing the Estes. I'm listening so hard for what's coming next that I don't pay attention to what I've said. I just literally blurt it out and move on. Blurt it out and move on. So I don't retain any of that. Well, I retained some because I know hallway came through so many times.
I walked out in the hallway just to figure out why was it coming through.
And we were doing a double. Ethan was in headphones. I was in headphones. Ethan and I were saying some words, the exact same word at the same time at about 4 or 5 different points in that session. And I'm like, that's wild, that we're both the same thing. And it was very odd because I didn't know lights went out ever during the session, but apparently lights went out. And the words that I was saying through when the lights went out was blackout and darkness. And I'm like,
yeah, that was the thing that Heidi was holding. That was Ethan's thing. It kept on going out.
I'm blindfolded. I'm not aware that lights even went out. And here, the spirits are quick, blackout. And I'm like, when I went back and watched it, I'm like, that was so directly in response to what it was.
And the interesting part of that is when we started that video, I'm also saying to Heidi, hey, we need a light on Kat and Ethan so we can at least see them because we were on a live video at that time. When it gets to that point where the lights are going back and forth, then it goes to darkness, I don't say anything. Hey, we need a light real quick.
Yeah, he didn't even respond. We didn't know. He didn't even react that lights are out.
I'm still seeing them with light on, but there's no light there.
So the live went dark, but maybe the room didn't. I don't know.
The hallway, I was hearing knocks and I was hearing voices and I was talking to. I'm trying to think. Hey, Michelle, how you doing? I'm trying to think of her name. That was doing the. Carla. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Carla, if you're watching. I forget names easy. So, but me and her were talking. It's I keep hearing something in the hallway. I keep seeing something in the hallway. I don't know what it is. So at one point, she turned the XLS or SLS camera into the hallway, and she's not picking anything up. Right. But she was picking up. I think you were seeing that something was on your shoulder or on your back. I think she was picking that up.
something it felt like something was touching my neck.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, at one point I was like, something's like, I literally was just sitting there still. It feels like something's touching my neck. And then a little later, I'm like, something's definitely like right here touching on my neck.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was just, but that happens to me often when I'm doing Estes, where I feel like something's like literally like right on me.
Right.
But, it was interesting because like we were getting responses that were Ethan would say something and I would respond to him, or vice versa. And you would ask a question and then I would answer it, and then Ethan would answer it with the same thing. And we're like, when I watched through that again, I was just like, that's remarkable. It really was.
Yeah.
My favorite part I have to throw out, because this.
I know it's coming.
I didn't know that I did this, but after going back and watching it and having been told that is what happened. At one point, Darren was asking a question, and then matter-of-factly, I'm like, Darren. And he's like, that's me. And I'm like, shut up. And I'm like, that's like, those are my favorite moments, because that's like.
And I'm like, no, I'm not going to shut up. And then turn around and said, leave. I'm like, no, I'm not going to leave either.
And I was like, it just makes me laugh so much because, we've had other times when team members have been in the headphones and the things are directly addressing me and calling me names and things. You remember that one well, too.
Well, yeah.
You were a jerk through live on that one. But yeah, it's just interesting because they're intelligent when they're saying your name and directly responding to you, like in the moment. It's just fascinating to me. That's by far my favorite investigation technique, even though it's, to some it's questionable. But if you're there witnessing it and you know how it works, it's flawless to me.
And you guys do a triple one too, and that's even more remarkable that you can do a triple one.
So, but we're probably gonna do. I've got some ideas on some doubles. I want to do double in the basement this time. I want to do people like I'm thinking about putting 2 in the hallway, in the basement hallway, with gear set up down the ends.
Okay.
I don't know. That might be what I want to do. I haven't decided yet, but that's or.
Well, you just got to stay tuned to Facebook Live.
What was intriguing about that SS session at the one in room 105 was towards the end of it was starting to push us towards the basement. It's like
it wanted.
Oh yeah.
Kept saying like, get out, go, and where do you want us to go? Basement.
One was coming up a lot.
Alone in the basement.
Alone in the basement. The number 1 came up a lot. Like, what's the deal with number 1? But yeah, it's this basement hallway.
Yeah,
we'll leave that one alone. We have a theory on that, but it's our theory, so.
Right. But I mean, it was strange. But needless to say, I mean, if you guys if you did get a chance, go back and watch that double Estes. It was a lot of fun. I
told you to shut up. That was the
best. So at that point, I think we all just took a break, went and sat in the house for a little bit. And from time to time, we do that, and that's a good thing to do, to take a break away from the building when you investigate that building, because you have to investigate. What I have realized with that building is you have to investigate that in sections. Yes. You just can't keep going and keep going and keep going.
Well, you can. It's just very mentally draining.
Yes, it is.
Exhausting.
Yeah, absolutely. It wears you out. Let me tell you, it wears you out. Let's see. Well, me and William went into the coffin room. Mm-hmm. That was kind of weird, but in the same instance, it was quiet. Couldn't get no hits on the plasma wall yet. I'll get it going, but at some point I'll get some interaction with it. What else? Oh yeah. So then me and William went to the pool room.
Okay. That's one. Okay, I know what you're saying. I know what's coming up. That's one. Is like we've got it in recorder as well.
Quite honestly, my recorder, I think either I shut it off or I didn't catch it. Or I have to replay it because maybe I dozed off listening to it. Because I've been doing that lately, is listen to EVPs late at night, and I've been dozing off. So I got to replay them.
Very efficient.
Like, I'm like, oh my god, I remember this, like, crystal clear.
Yeah. I mean, we had the laser going. I think the laser died, right?
Yeah, when the laser got gone, it did die at one point, and I took it away. Then I think after like 5-10 minutes, I brought it back out and turned it back on. It was working, so I set it back up.
Mm-hmm.
But we were sitting in the pool room, so we had also the pool table was next to me.
Yep.
A chair next to me, and we're facing that, like down that hallway, looking down towards Susie's room.
Right. And at some point, did we see a figure pop out of a corridor?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So you were running, I think, the Spirit app, is it?
Spirit Talker.
Spirit Talker.
I had the Ovilus sitting on the pool table. We had a K2, a couple of cat balls, just kind of scarred the hood just for in case we could random interaction. And what was the question? We were asking questions back and forth. You would ask a question, I would ask a question just to get reactions. I'm to ask something. I don't know what it was.
Well, I think I was asking for Knox, so let us know that they're there. I would have to play it back in the Spirit Talker what we had, but it was a series of questions like how many people are here, how many spirits are up in this room. I think at one point it gave us a number, correct?
That's right. I think it was a number 7 or 9, I believe.
Right. And that's what's been happening a lot lately when me and William are in the room with the Spirit Talker. We've been asking like how many spirits are in the room. It's been giving us numbers. And if and when we get to Brodhead, talk about Brodhead, I'll bring that up. So it was towards the end of us being in the pool room. We were asking for some knocks. And next thing you know, we hear this doosh, doosh. It was that door.
Yep. So for anybody who's familiar with Edinburgh Manor and they know the pool room, there's that door that's in there.
To the outside?
Yep. That leads out in that little balcony, where the residents would have sat, soaking up the sun on a nice summer day. That door's also locked. You can't go there. So me and Darren, we are backs to there and we're facing the hallway towards Susie's room. And like Darren says, he's asking questions about, making noise, making whatever. And that's what we hear on the door behind us. Like somebody knocking, like a knock.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody shut the door and it kind of latched. So somebody's sitting there like, oh, wait a minute, hey guys, knock. And it was loud, it was clear.
Yep.
Me and Darren look at each other like, like that. And we're like, okay, can you do that again?
Uh-huh.
The thing that came up after that caught me off guard a little bit was on your Spirit Talker thing.
Did you hear me?
Did you hear me? And then it said manifest. I'm like, okay, something's going to happen. Like, I feel like something's going to happen. And I just had it in me, like something's going to happen. Like, something's going to come up or something's going to be stood in the hallway in front of us but nothing happened.
Yeah.
But that knock behind us on the door, I'm like, oof, that was
enough.
I heard you. We totally heard you.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and he's like he has never heard a knock on that door before. He was saying
nothing with that. I've never heard. The pool room's generally quiet. I know people get like some residual stuff in there, like the pool, the balls and the pool table maybe clinking,
that
kind of thing. Or
you get all kinds of stuff in that room. You just don't.
I just don't.
We've had shadow people in that room. We've had SLS figures in that room. We've had full spirit box communications in that room. We've not Estes sessioned in there. We should do an Estes in there this time.
And quite honestly, too, I think this is the first time for Spirit Talker. Hey, Becky, how you doing? And Scottish came through.
That's because he's Scottish. At least they didn't call him Irish, right?
What room was that down?
Well, it did at Brodhead, but it did first time at Edinburgh. It said Scottish. Yep. So now I'm trying to figure out what part of that was that it called you Scottish. Was that in the basement? I think that was maybe in the basement when that happened.
Possibly. I know at Brodhead it was the janitor's room.
Yep, it was the janitor's room. Yep.
But it said, Scottish lad.
It did say Scottish lad. Australian would.
Yeah, it did. It said Scottish and it said lad in the janitor's room at Brodhead.
It was at Brodhead, but I think it was in the basement in Edinburgh.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think so. T Mark, I agree with you there.
So what else? Oh yeah, so the Fleur. So we go back down the basement the second time because we were down there 3 different sessions. The second time I got the Fleur out, and that was funky. I can't explain that Fleur the way how that was, how that thing. As far back as we were in that room, and it was pointing towards one of the dryers, it was still picking up the dryer and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it was weird. I'm like, why would it pick that up? Of all things, why would that pick that up when it's not even in use? That was kind of funky.
It's metal and retains the temperature.
I suppose. I mean, I really don't get the Fleur out that often, but now I've been getting out a lot more lately. But so Kat, you want to talk about the second time we were down there?
The second time we were down there.
Down in the basement at Edinburgh.
Were we all down there as a group? Because I don't recall.
I think so.
Me and Darren went in towards a hallway towards the laundry room because that's where the tripwire. I think we had both tripwires set up. That no, it was one tripwire for maintenance to dining, and then for dining to laundry, because that's where Darren was starting to get frustrated.
Oh yeah, that was the third time. That was the third time we were down there.
So the thing that stands out for me is not like our trips to the basement, because I guess I spent too much time there. But for me, that because when we finished up the basement the first time, and Mike and his girlfriend were still there, and we did that experiment on the multi-levels, and I went up to the upper staircase, and
Correct.
then we had Heidi and Ethan doing an Estes in the stairwell on the women's side.
Oh yeah, then me and William and Carla
were in the basement.
Yeah.
Then Mike and his girlfriend were on second floor in the women's side hallways, and I was running Spirit Box, and it was giving a lot of voices, a lot of words, a lot of things that I didn't really retain because it was just not really like sensible. But then it literally, like clear as day, in a single voice went devil going down. And
and then
here is Ethan reacting to it in his Estes session. He would not have heard mine, and he's all of a sudden saying things like, "Oh F, it's coming," or "He's coming," and hide, run, and all of those things was the reaction through his Estes session immediately after mine said that. And then Mike's girlfriend saw a shadow in the hallway on second that she actually let out a scream and whatnot. But then in the same moment, you're telling me your laser grid and everything in the basement, you're like, our laser grid has died, but I'm not really getting a lot of other things. It was just a progression. And I think that's kind of interesting to be able to validate movement from a place down to another place, that we actually did manage to move this thing back down the staircase.
And at that point in time too, I was getting EVPs on my digital voice recorder too.
Okay, that's also when I got my finger smashed in a door because I'm dumb.
Yeah.
So, but they're doing good. There's no ring.
There's still no ring yet?
Oh, you want to know? I don't know how this happens because it's been what, a month?
About that, yeah.
Weeks. I was sweeping Thursday at the Manor and my ring came up. Sweeping floors. I've been there how many times in between? How many teams have been there?
Robbie 3. What's up, homie?
Huh.
I found it sweeping floors.
Hey, Rob.
And I'm like mind blown. I actually like messaged William right away, even though he was at work, and I'm like, you're not going to believe what I just found at Edinburgh, because I thought it was gone. I didn't have it when we went to Brodhead.
Wow.
I thought it was gone, and I had put it in my purse in a pocket that zipped shut, and it wasn't there. And I just found it Thursday at Edinburgh.
Wow. That's right, Lori. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm just blown away. Hey, Rob.
Yeah, it was nuts. Overall, it was nuts. Yes, the third time I went down there, and Will was next to me in the hall. Yeah, I was getting frustrated because, and that's what I was told that basement will do. It will get you frustrated. It will get you upset. And it's true. It does. It started happening. You don't really notice it or recognize it until later on when their demeanor changes. And William was talking to me and it's like, you're getting pissed. You're getting frustrated. And I'm like, yeah.
Straight away, I can see him like, okay, he's starting to get bad. No, we also, because we're not getting a reaction from the tripwire like you were hoping for or expecting. And at one point, I thought you were going to kick the tripwire. I was like, is he going to kick it or no? I was waiting you just go, and kick it, you know? Like, I could see it happening, but I'm like, okay, get an element or two.
Felix, you need to slap him around a little bit if he's getting out of line.
Maybe pull him out if it gets a little bit more aggressive. Okay, we'll pull you out. But no, that never happened. But
yeah, but at that point, I knew I was getting pissed. It's like, no, it's time to go outside. There's a difference when you getting mad and you get yourself out of control,
right,
and can't control yourself. And then there's the part where you know you're getting out of control. It's time to take a break. It's time to go outside.
I just wanted people to know that you're petting a cat and not doing weird things in your lap.
Okay.
So I turned the camera down. There's a cat there.
But I mean, it's the way how William picked up on it right away. It's just like, damn, dude, you're getting pissed. I think it's time you need to take a break.
Also, it's the experience of being in that location myself, you know, being there a number of times, having seen a lot of people go back and forth through that place and see how they get affected, you know, whether it's positive, negative, or nothing, you know. And being that your first time there,
yeah, I
could pick up on certain things, especially with that. The tripwire was in my office. I could see you starting to get that real, you know.
Right. And I don't get like that on investigations. I don't at all.
And, you know, it may not have been as easy to notice, but we've at least investigated with you before. So, you know, that allows us to be able to, you know what reactions are normal and not normal. You know, so we at least had a little baseline of, we know Darren well enough to know that that's not Darren.
Right.
You know, and that's why, like, Edinburgh is such an interesting place because it's really, you know, it's all over the place. We had to talk Brodhead. We're running out of time here.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. We're unlimited time tonight, so.
Unlimited.
But yeah. So overall, Edinburgh, great success. Definitely gonna go back when it's convenient.
Time because Kat forgot to buy them.
So hey, no, I got plenty now, so we're golden there.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely get that going. So we'll have to just work out a schedule so I can get back down there again. And you know, see if the rest of the team want to come along, that'd be great. So they can experience it too.
Fridays and Saturdays have booked up really fast. So
oh yeah.
I don't think there's a single Saturday from March to August or September already. Might be into October. Like all the Saturdays are booked.
Wow.
There's some Fridays floating around out there, but not too many.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to schedule it at some point. We'll schedule one. But overall, like I said, at Edinburgh, if you haven't had a chance to get there. But I would do as an advisement, do some easier investigations prior to going. That way, you kind of get to know yourself and how you are. Hey, Laura, how you doing? Just so that way you have a little bit of experience in investigating and know yourself, how you are investigating. You have a routine. And then just kind of watch yourself when you get to Edinburgh because it's a whole different game. So, miss you too, Laura. I haven't seen you on here for a while. She got a new job, so.
Oh, wow. Well, no, I guess I know because we're missing her. But.
So, yeah. So, Edinburgh, hindsight, get there. You'll love it. Trust me, you'll love it. And take some TikToks, do some video photography, pictures, all that stuff. There's
actually people that book it out for doing photography just in general because it's such a unique location with the deterioration of the paint and things like that. It's just beautiful. Yeah, Mark says, take the tour. That was draining. He was on a tour with us a few months back, and that was an intense tour. But it was also around the time frame because you weren't able to.
I was Spoonsdale.
Yeah, I don't know, but oh my gosh, the tour that he was there for was we had a lot of energy in that building that day. I had people that are like, no, can't do it. This isn't working. And
I still want to see the figure come up the stairs in the second floor. I still want to.
that would be cool.
So maybe next time I go, we'll try and focus on, instead of photography, can get more evidence. Yeah, absolutely. So maybe next time we go, we'll investigate more of the other parts of the building.
Yeah.
And then, maybe leave the basement alone some of that night, because I know that's where every team likes to go, is they find themselves in the basement.
Because it's always so active.
Yeah. But, I would like to give the rest of the building a shot of different spots, and,
That's what we did back in July when we were there for the 3 days, is we actually had the opportunity to touch every room.
Mm-hmm.
And actually dedicate some time to every space. And that was really cool.
Right.
And I think I'm going to do roll call on Friday with the book.
Okay.
From Tori Westhoff. That's the We Are Edinburgh book and has all the death records. I'm gonna get in a little early in the afternoon on Thursday, and I'm gonna sit and do a live and read the book, because I need to take new notes because my other book got stolen, and I have
just don't get in trouble.
Oh, I won't, because I'm the one that's running the check-ins and stuff that day. So
Okay.
That's it's our check-in. So we'll be there. I'm gonna do that. See if we can get some interactions that way. And then I for sure will do the live for the double Estes whenever we do that. If we do more than one, I might throw.
That'll be fun.
But
That'll be fun. I'll definitely I'll be in there. You know that. So other than that, overall, great place. Like I said, take advantage of the house. It's there if it's cold and wintertime out. Yes, take advantage of the house and go sleep in the house. You definitely want to do that. It gets cold fast. But yeah, fantastic place.
Oh, thank you, Laura. That's our shirts.
Well, thanks.
So, speaking of which, I still want a shirt.
We'll discuss that later. I can get that. I can make it happen there. We can take
That's
care of it.
that's a very.
That's what I collect. I collect team shirts. I like to show, so when I go on investigation, I'll wear a team shirt, and then I'll put mine off to the side.
Oh,
I like doing that stuff.
Well, then you're going to have to investigate with us again to get one.
Son of a bitch.
No, it does not glow in the dark, because that would be... I think glow in the dark stuff is disruptive for evidence and things, like movements and stuff like that. But that would be fun to have for just a regular. Our team glows.
So, I mean, if that works.
Right.
Rob wants a shirt too.
Oh, okay.
Tammy.
Tammy says hello. So now.
How does that work?
Right.
Haunted underwear. William's underwear is probably haunted. He can send you a pair, Mark.
They've been in somebody else's locker and work. You get that. You'll get what I'm saying, Mark.
No.
Man, you get a skid mark in those glow-in-the-dark underwear. That wouldn't look so hot. There's William. I see the skid mark.
You just basically just have to kind of ring it up a bit and slap it against the wall and it sticks.
Downhill fast, Mark. Downhill fast.
Oh yeah.
Just think about yellow tape in somebody's back.
So now we leave. Huh? So now we leave Edinburgh, and we head to Brodhead. And let me tell you, that place got crazy.
Hot pockets.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, jeez.
An 8x10 of Will in his Halloween costume. So, for those that haven't...
oh, here we go. You motherfuckers nasty.
For those that haven't seen Will in his costume, let me just see if I can find one and pull it up for you. Because everybody should have this moment. Come on, camera. It's not going to do it. Almost had it. Darn. Too much hair. That's unfortunate. Maybe that one will work? No. But you get the idea. There's a man wearing a beautiful dress. That is William. I know that's very hard to see, but
That's me.
I just want to make sure everybody knows that that's out there. So we do have a picture of that on our page, on our team page. So you can go back to our old posts if you want to see a better picture. It's quite beautiful. So we might have to make posters of that. A William calendar in the dress and without the dress. I don't know.
Listen, I'm going to say one thing before we get to the Brodhead discussion. To all the ladies that are out there, either watching this or no watching this, or whoever found this video and decide to watch it, I appreciate you, because how do you walk in a dress like that? How do you go to the bathroom in a dress like that?
With help.
Well, can you go to the bathroom? Because I was like, Nate's going to help me.
You look better in a dress than Laura.
But you know what?
It's the beard and the chest hair that did it for everybody. I'm just.
And my wife is like, you need to fill that thing a little more and pack it full.
He had room for his beer.
But you know what, ladies? I totally respect you for that. I totally respect you for walking in dresses like that, because that shit sucks. My ass will face first at the back door going to the patio because my dress caught the door.
You can't even see his legs. The dress was floor length, Mark. And his back is just as hairy as his legs, and you can see that part. That pic on a Paranormal Exposure shirt. We'll just put it right in the middle of the aperture. It'll be like a picture of William right in the middle of the O.
Paranormal Exposure one
But yeah. Thank you guys for sharing that laugh, because that definitely needed to come up.
Definitely go back and watch their lives, because the live is funny.
I forgot about that. So Mark Donnelly is actually making a reference to his wedding night. William's one of the groomsmen for his wedding.
Uh-huh.
And they lined up all the women, and he had to find his wife by feeling her leg. And so they lined up the bridal party and his wife in the chairs, and then they swapped one of the girls out after Mark was blindfolded, and it was William's hairy leg that he got to feel.
I'm telling you, Mark, it was sensual.
Wear that dress for the next investigation. You can.
How am I going to be in the basement of like Edinburgh Manor with that big poofy dress on, and then some nasty entity shows up, and I've got to run to the basement,
Oh my god!
back up the first floor, man.
So,
I'm not going to make it alive.
but you would have the floor swept. It would make floor sweeping way easy.
You know?
Cindy'd be up for it.
That'd be interesting. That'd be funny. Made me question a lot.
Okay. I'm going to say this one.
Rob's coming to the next investigation now.
I'm going to be stuck.
Oh, he's triggered.
The rest of the team's going to be sitting at the first player watching DVR system, watching me get like literally manhandled by some horrendous entity.
Manhandled.
I'm going to make a beeline for it, try and get out of there. I'm not going to get up the steps of that boiler room, just go face first.
Oh my god.
Better watch from behind.
It's not easy access with a dress like that.
They'll make it easy access, I can tell you that.
Anywho's, Brodhead, man.
All right, we'll move on to Brodhead. So Brodhead. Oh my gosh. I tell you, I was worn out already at Edinburgh, and Brian Ford, oh, Jesus.
I'm not sure what that's about. But all right.
Just for success.
Right. Brodhead. So we go for Edinburgh, we go with Brodhead.
Yeah, so Brodhead, I'm like, we get there, and I'm like, okay, I need to take a nap because I am just drained.
Yep.
You know, And I think we all did at one point, didn't we?
They're not leaving you alone, buddy.
Jesus.
There
But-
is a Facebook Live that we did from our Halloween party, Laura, when he was wearing that dress, and you can actually see him in action, like being all beautiful with his blonde wig. It's pretty good stuff. I'm just saying.
We need a Simone playing in the background. I'll leave it at that. Okay.
Let your imagination take place then.
But we go to Brodhead. I think it's afternoon, right?
Yeah,
I was in
early
the
afternoon.
Early afternoon.
Yeah.
I think that also you took a nap down. I remember I took a nap for about an hour.
Yeah.
That was prior to. I think it was me. It was me, you, and Bill. For picking a few things up.
Yeah.
If anybody's know Brodhead Manor, the owners there, Bill and Ron, they're some of the best people you'll meet.
Mm-hmm.
They're some of the funnest people, honest people.
They're still on you, buddy.
Some of the funnest and honest people you'll actually meet, and they're very gracious hosts.
Right.
So if you ever go to Brodhead Manor, and also you'll meet Bill and Ron, give them a high five, give them a show of love, because what they do for that place is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Beautiful location.
Yep,
So.
it's beautiful. It's 60,000 square feet of just awesomeness.
I mean, when you walk in that building, you'll feel the love right there of how much they dedicate to that building, and treat it the way it's a building should be, and the way a location should be. It's just, and they're just down to earth people to talk to. I mean, you can't get any better than that.
Right.
It's so down to earth, it's unreal.
I mean, it just you feel right at home. It's a better way to put it. You feel right at home. And that place, like I said, it was I was tired, and then I got up, and then I was like, okay, it's time to get our stuff going, and no problem. Absolutely. Every word, 100% mean it. And it's just you got to take your time. Just like any investigation you go, any place you go, you got to take your time. You got to let the building feel you, and you feel the building,
Yeah.
And that place came alive.
It did.
It was phenomenal. So while Bill was out using the restroom, sorry, William,
Cat.
you want to talk about some of your exercises that you were doing at the building?
Yeah, so we had quite a few guests again for this trip. There was a lady, her name is Aaliyah. She actually is the one that had done the cleansing on the building that recently, and it the energy of the building felt fantastic. We didn't have any EM pumps this last time, so that's definitely not this last time.
Right.
But I had Aaliyah and Lauren and Heidi and a few others went up and did a pendulum session up in the gift shop area. And I don't know what all happened with that, but it sounded like they had a really great time doing that and learned a few things within the group. And then I took another group of gentlemen up, and we went to what Ethan would call the big ass spooky dead bird room.
Something like that.
I don't know if I got it right. I tried so hard. It's okay, Bill. No big deal. I just was like, didn't bring any EM pumps the last time. We were good. We pumped that building up and made it hyper caffeinated with energy after the first trip. So
we actually cleansed ourselves before you walked into the building.
We arrived, and we were like, we need to sage everybody before we go in. We saged all the gear. Yep. Because I just felt like you could feel, I felt like walking up to the building was going to be disrespectful if there was any chance of taking the energy from Edinburgh Manor into Brodhead, because it was from one extreme to the other.
Correct.
And literally, I got to the location. And I'm like, oh, we can't walk in yet. We have to cleanse everything before we even go in. And Bill graciously watched us do that as he waited for us to come in and say hello. I'm like, no, just give us 5-10 minutes. We'll be there.
Yeah.
But just, the building felt so good, and we
Oh
had
yeah.
really positive experiences. We had some voice phenomena come through up in that room with the guys. We had some REM pod hits, and we also had an SLS figure that was bouncing between some of the desks up there. Like it was trying to touch the equipment, it just wasn't lighting up the equipment.
Hmm.
So that was kind of cool. Pretty quiet at that moment. We decided to move on to the music room from there, and the music room, we were getting a ton of cat ball hits, and the one that was so funny was that these guys were like joking around and whatever, and they're like, yeah, well, if you're in here, go do whatever. And then the things that were getting interacted with were the ones sitting like right at their feet.
Hmm.
And normally, things happen away from you,
Right.
and whoever was interacting with us in that room was doing it right in front of them. So they were kind of like, oh wow, that's like right here, the cat ball right here is going off. And they weren't, we tested it. It wasn't from their feet moving or anything like that, because that wasn't setting it off even when we were stomping next to it.
Hmm.
But it was pretty cool. We had a lot of interactions in there. The Eddie was getting a lot of hits in there. Weird voice phenomena. The one guy's name got called. I cannot remember his name. But yeah, it was a lot of fun running around. Like I enjoy getting to meet and work with people new. I mean, it's just what I do a lot. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun because then you get that. You're doing what you want to do. You're showing their appreciation for them being there to learn, and vice versa. I mean, it's like you get that feeling like, yes, they're learning, they're grasping the idea. We're doing our job, making people feel comfortable. It's okay to investigate. It's not going to hurt you. So I absolutely agree with that.
and then I hear you and William had some fun.
Oh yeah. So you want to talk about janitor's room?
Are we talking the end part or the beginning part?
Start with the beginning.
So let's talk about the janitor's room, because that's and I know that's the place that we hit right away, because it's a big spot.
Room, like his room that leads to that little section. His room.
Oh, with all the boilers.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that was the next morning though.
No, I'm talking about the other room, the one that goes through the hallway.
Oh, the hallway. It goes down and then to the janitor spot where it opens up, where there's a door and the steps that go up.
Yep.
Yeah. So that room has a metal stairs to go up on the second level, and in the bottom level there's a workbench and there's a room for
That's right.
the
Brodhead.
tunnel.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we went in there, and a lot of times, being this is my second time at Brodhead, that was the first place we hit, and that's the place that the back janitor's workshop. Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. And so we had what's that?
I said, we know that's Bill.
Yeah.
Fucking nice, you know.
And so we had Robert Webb, and then we had, I don't know if is it a family member that was with Robert?
Remember? I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. And then it was you and then me.
Aye, so just the boys.
Just the four of us. And right away we asked, like, how many people are in this room right now with us? And yeah, everyone picks on the janitor. And that's true.
We never specifically asked questions that were picking on the janitor. We were just asking general questions.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get to know them a bit more, because we don't know if people that go in there or all the teams go in there try to get to know him, find out why he's there, try and get on his good side, rather than just kind of poke the bear, so to speak, because they know that he can get physical if provoked. We're trying to go the opposite end and try and find out who this guy is, why he's there,
right.
As best we can without provoking him, and we got mixed results. I think it was kind of
I mean, like I said, we asked like how many people are down in here, and right away it said 4. So it hit on us right away with 4 people in. See, exactly. We try to bring the utmost respect as we can. You know.
We say thank yous whenever we give an answer, or we call them sir, or we
Mm-hmm.
try to make sure we're on top of that.
Right.
As much as we ask as many questions as we were asking, we were also making sure we said thank you, sir, or thank
Correct.
you for that response, or etc., to make sure that he was valued.
Mm-hmm.
Because also maybe a lot of people go in there and just try and poke him for a
Right.
reaction, whereas we're trying to, okay, if we're poking, we're just doing it for to find out about you, and we try to be respectful as possible, and was our ultimate goal.
Right. Right. And then let's see. Then the Spirit Talker said Scottish again.
Yep.
And then it said lad.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool because he was actually kind of talking to you in a way.
Yep, and I think I asked a few questions after that. I don't think any responses we got matched up to what was said at that point. So I was like, okay, we'll just try a different line of questions, see what we get. Now, what was interesting was what came up on your talker, which was stroke.
Yeah.
And without giving too many details away, we know it pertains to a certain person.
Right.
So we asked said person, maybe that could pertain to you. So,
yeah, and then Robert said he had a heart attack.
Yep. And that was like, okay.
So
that's intriguing. So we're like, okay, maybe that pertains to you, Robert. Maybe why didn't you ask a question or two to see if it responds to you?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're the person here that's most familiar with that word.
Right. And then baby came through, which we didn't realize that there was actually a baby in the gym.
Oh, that's right.
So it said baby. I was like, well, what the heck? No, there's no baby down here. And then I was like, I come upstairs and like, oh, there is a baby here.
I believe it was the gentleman that was with Rob. It was his. I don't know if it's his wife or fiance that had the baby.
Uh-huh.
So that was kind of in relation to him.
Right.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. And then, and of course that after that we came up and I think that was we were just sitting around a little bit and then we started talking to Bill and at that point you or we didn't know that it was a 5-question rule. So for those of you that go next time to Brodhead Manor, there's a 5-question rule. So just have your 5 questions.
Specifically for the janitor because
yes.
he gets perturbed a bit with all of the harassment.
5 questions or less and 5 people or less.
Correct. So just a heads up when you go there next time and I didn't know that because Bill was like, yeah, you guys asked too many questions. Like, oh shit, I didn't know it was a 5-question because I was looking at you like, oh man, is he getting mad? But I mean, no, he wasn't. It's just like we just didn't know about it. So, and
area as well. I think female investigators in that area, or I don't think the janitor gets very on with investigators, so that's just a point to look out for,
So I mean that was good clarification because like I said, I didn't know that. So when he brought that up, I'm like, oh okay, so that's a rule that's in place. So now that's something we got to keep in mind.
I think because of the fact that we show the respect that we do when we go in and investigate like places in general is why we don't get as much of the aggressive behavior because like none of our team has had anything aggressive ever happen at Brodhead. Mm-hmm. It is the most positive paranormal experience that I can say I've ever had at any place. Like we get a ton of evidence, we get a ton of interactions, and we are able to get all of that without having to push to have things happen. And I really love that about that location.
And Brodhead Manor, for anybody that goes out there, Brodhead Manor is a location that you can walk around by yourself, whether it's first flare or second flare or third flare, and you don't feel like you have to watch your back.
Right.
You can walk around through all the rooms, through all the halls.
Yep.
And you feel fine, If you have a paranormal interaction somewhere within one of these layers, that's great. Because it's not a negative thing, it's a positive thing. It's just something that's reaching out, trying to get your attention.
Right.
So if
And
you
there,
fancy, go to Broadhead, please go there.
and with Broadhead too, you got to keep in mind that there is a shutdown period with spirits.
Yep.
So, so just kind of got to be respectful. I mean, if you're not going to get anything at that shutdown period, that's why it's called a shutdown period. They have to have time to reset and restore themselves, just as much as we have to, you know. So, yeah. So with that, I mean, that was an interesting spot. Let's see what else. So then did we? Yeah, I think then we started to go up to the third level. Once they get relaxed, yeah, yeah, absolutely, and that's no joke. That's no joke.
No.
So after that, then we decided, okay, well, we hit the janitor spot once. Okay, let's move on to other places tonight and try to do different spots. So then we went up to the third floor. And, man, that third floor was nuts. It was nuts. I mean, we were getting knocked everywhere. It's like to the point I felt we were surrounded.
That was prior to Bill doing supper. Remember, he was doing the hot dogs and we were facing that bathroom upstairs on the third floor. Remember, we had the laser grid in there. I think you had the floor set up and a tripod facing in as well.
Right, and then I had a floor up there as well.
Set up arenas. So we were effectively stuck in that little location, facing forward. And then we're hearing a noise to the left, we're hearing a noise to the right.
Mm-hmm. Then we had something behind us.
Creeping.
That was crazy.
That was
But
crazy.
that's how kids work.
But it was fun though, because it was like, okay, I hear you there. Can you do it again? Then it hit the other side.
Right. And I think we were up there only for like, was it 10, 15 minutes before we had to come down for supper?
Well, I thought it was like 30 minutes, 35. We were up there for a bit. To me, it felt like we were up there for like 30 minutes.
Sounds like we lost some time somewhere. No.
Well, it could possibly happen because, I mean, I was following the recorder on time and stuff because I went through that whole section there in my recorder. Because I left my recorder running after we walked away. And then let Spirit Talker run too. And I had some interesting spots in there. But I think we were only up there for like 10 to 15 minutes tops, I think was what we were. And Heidi came up and grabbed us and said, hey, Bill's got supper ready, so you guys need to come down and eat. And I said, okay.
Right.
So, yeah. And so when I did that, or when we went downstairs, I think we were gone for maybe 20, 25 minutes.
Yep, then we went back up.
And we went back up, and on the recorder, from the time we left to the time we got up there were so many knocks. It wasn't funny. I mean, it was just I was hearing some different voices. One is like, what was it? Acknowledge him or acknowledge me.
Aye.
Came up twice, but the second time it said acknowledge me. After that, a few seconds later, then there was a male voice that I caught on the recorder. It says, all right. So
Nice.
that was interesting. But then at this point, when we came back up, we didn't come back alone. We, in fact, came back up with Robert Webb and Bridget.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. I think at that point, we were up there for maybe another hour.
Yep, towards the room at the end with the chairs and the desk and the board. I think that's where we spent most of our time there.
Big ass spooky dead room.
Right, that room. Prior to moving it in that hallway where we had stuff on the floor, which is a whole separate entity, so to speak.
Yeah, it was getting nuts. I mean, at that point, we moved the laser grid towards that corner.
Mm-hmm.
And we moved the fleur towards that way as well. And at this point, this is when Bridget was starting to see some stuff. Um, she was, yeah,
That's the
the
one.
science room. Yep. I mean, funky bird room. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Bird room.
Did that because Ethan's not bad video, but Ethan's interesting video where he dubbed it with his little rainbow.
Spooky,
I saw that part. I still haven't finished both of those videos yet, but I'm watching both of them. But yeah, it just all of a sudden we started. Okay, let's pick up our stuff. Let's start moving down towards that room, because then we started seeing they were seeing stuff down there going in and out of the rooms and whatnot. So, and Robert actually got really attached to the Fleur, and because it blew him away of all the stuff that he was seeing. And then that's the point where you were pointing at the wall, and he was seeing a heat signature. But it's like, why should there be a heat signature there? So we went on the other side of that wall, and then it's like, okay, well, there's an electrical box there. So it's like, okay, well, there's a heat signature. So we debunked that part of it. But everything else started playing playing into everything. And one thing led to the next. Bridget starts talking to her science teacher, Mr. Scott, was it?
Mm-hmm.
So we just let her do her thing, you know. But even then, so what do you think about the third floor, William?
That's very active. There's a lot of stuff there.
I mean, what was the stuff where you were seeing?
Like, I was getting a lot of visual stuff. I mean, noises, Manor. But seeing Bridget in that room, when you got there, also, I think it was, spirit thing. When Scott, it was just Scott that came through. It was just the name, it was named Mr. Scott, it was just Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And she, was like, wait a minute, I know that. That was my teacher. I was like, wait a minute, you were here when this school was operational? She's like, yeah, well, I attended this school.
And that blew me away, because I'm like, oh, so now we're using it as a trigger object.
Right, and she brought, also, she looked up, also our teacher, and she brought up a picture of him, what he looked like, and he had passed away, I think it was 2011, was the obituary. And it's this picture of this, kind of heavy-set guy with glasses, happy smile, looks like in the best time of his life, I'm like, that was your teacher here? And he's like, yeah, that was my teacher. So it's interesting that we've never had, also I've been there twice now, and we never had the name Scott come up.
Mm-hmm.
But we are up there, that name comes through. And that was really interesting. And like you say, okay, maybe trigger object here, okay, maybe you start asking questions, Bridget. If you're getting that, maybe it's going to respond to you.
Right.
I think there was maybe a few responses to it, but nothing really, nothing really solid. But it was like, okay, try it,
Right. And the way how, and like I said, Robert really got attached to the Fleur a lot. And so that was all a cool thing. And what what Bill was told me before is that, yeah, you guys had Bridget and Robert up there for so long that, just getting Bridget up there in the first place and to keep her up there and keep her interested, we got something special that we did our job.
Mm-hmm.
We got her to feel comfortable being up there, and as a paranormal investigator, that's what you want to do. You want people to feel comfortable doing stuff.
I don't know how many people that go through Brodhead Manor, and maybe Bill can also confirm this for us, that are former students at that place.
Mm-hmm.
They go through and be like, oh wow, look at this place now. I remember back in the day when it was like this or like that. So, also with Bridget there, she's obviously the first person I've encountered that used to attend that high school, that middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to see that little reaction. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if other people go through there, yeah, I was a student here this year or that year, would they get the same reaction if you had a different teacher that they had,
Right.
That would be really cool to see.
So that'd be interesting if he in fact at some point gets other people there that used to go to the school.
Right.
It might start triggering other teachers that have since passed, maybe, but that would be very interesting. And then I'd say the other thing that happened was with the fleur in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
That one I still can't wrap my fingers around because of how strange it was. Because at one point we were walking and Robert had the fleur in his hands. He goes, "You guys got to stop because there's something around you." So something kept on peeking in and out and around us.
I have like a corner part.
Yeah. Yeah, it got really.
What kind of made it weird was, I think it was me, like, I think at one point I went forward and you were watching the floor, so when I went to the corner where they're seen,
Mm-hmm.
I would move my horn up, I would do the same thing. So I'm like, okay, is something reflecting at me or something, you know? Because you tried it, I know Rob tried it.
Right. We actually went into another room that was just off to the right of us. And, it was just, and like I said, what Bill has mentioned, that the third floor has been just nuts for the last few weeks now. But it's like we were starting to see figures in that fleur section. And luckily for me, I have it recorded, so I have to condense that down to the certain part where I can say, okay, this is where it all started happening. What do you all think of it? I'll post it and say, hey, what do you all think of it? Do you see figures? Do you not see figures? What stands out more to you most in this? So at some point, once I get that condensed down, I'll post it.
We tried, okay, so is it maybe...
Hey, John.
Hello, John.
Is there like a paint on there that shines? Is shining that reflection there? Is that a light coming from somewhere? Is that an exit sign light coming in? I think we tried a few things and we're like,
yeah,
okay, we can eliminate them because it's I don't know.
Well, I went back up with Larry Eisler because Larry Eisler stopped in with his boy and stuff, and I said, "Hey, Larry, you got time to come upstairs? Let's check this and see what you think." Because he had questions about it too, and I'm like, we shined a light right on that wall, and nothing was casting off that wall.
That's what I don't get.
So yeah, so it's a very funky piece of tape, or footage, I should say, and. Like I said, I gotta condense it down, get to where it all starts and to finish. So that way, you'll get a copy, and then I can post and give it to Bill, copy and all that stuff. And that way, you can just sit down and just study it.
An explanation for it easy,
Yeah.
But until we can break it down and say, okay, that's the explanation there,
Right, because there's no windows, there's no glass in that area, so.
Which is sad, Bill, that a lot of people come to the investigations because the place isn't that. It's not a horrible place,
It's not scary.
Right.
No, it's
right.
It's a wonderful place to walk around.
Right. So, let's see.
I'm gonna stop for a second and tell John to tell Marianne hello for us because that's a friend of ours that lives over by Chicago, and his sister Marianne. We've talked to her for years and years and haven't talked to her in a while. So much love to both John and his sister Marianne. So
hopefully their place is okay with all the storms have been passing through lately too. So
yeah, they're in the Joliet area.
Yeah, the storms have been pretty bad last night and today. So hopefully everybody's doing okay with that stuff.
Yeah, ours was all yesterday. Thus the reasons we were having technical difficulties.
Right. See, photograph. There you go. See, and that's what we just.
Thanks, John.
And the thing is with videotaping spirits and being on video is to get that.
So
and that has happened. My stuff has drained.
So Bill, the spirits there are just better way, like devices like SB7 box or Ovilus,
mm-hmm.
like that,
They love the tripwire. We were having because you had mentioned Larry's son being there. He went and we went to the cafeteria area with the tripwire and the RTC box and a few other pieces of equipment. And he jumped right in and he was doing great. He was asking questions. It kept touching the light that was right next to him. Out of the whole tripwire of lights, it was the 2 or 3 that were next to where he was that kept lighting up, which was kind of awesome.
Yeah.
But we weren't recording. We were just investigating.
Mhm.
And cat balls with a K.
Oh, my
But-
balls.
But yeah, it's and he did fantastic. It was really cool getting to work with him. I would have thought that he had partaken in stuff before because he just
Mhm.
jumped right in. Obviously, he has somebody to teach him the ropes on all of that, so it was really good.
Right.
Oh, and the flashlights. Ethan's flashlights. I haven't gotten to see those in action for a while. Hoping that we'll get some of that this Friday at Edinburgh, but
Maybe I'll have to go out and find some because I can't find those flashlights.
you can just buy them on Amazon.
Hmm.
You need a link? I'll send you a link. They're not that expensive.
Well, if he's got in his shopping list, yeah, I'll need a link to get what he's got because I was looking for those rotatable ones, and all I got is the push button ones because I like using the push buttons because it's a little harder, and I want to get more of that validation, But
for me, I know there's a lot of skepticism on the flashlight thing,
mhm.
but he's got different color ones. If you're male, do this. If you're female, do that. And we've had it light specifically one and then the other. It's not.
Right.
And like, okay, can you turn that back off for me? And it turns off. And
Right.
nobody's near the light to touch it. It's not somebody physically. It's doing it on command.
Right.
And I've seen all of the videos of like, oh yeah, flashlights are fake and da 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 da. And I'm like, when you sit and watch it firsthand happening for real, like the first time I saw Ethan doing it, we were at Brodhead and he was in the little trap door of that one little room.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden I'm like, huh. Because I didn't ever have any desire to have flashlights in my gearbox. But now all of a sudden I'm like, that was really too consistently responsive to be any, like Ethan's not touching them. They're literally laying on the floor.
Right.
And they're doing it to answer specific questions. You leave them alone for a while, you don't ask them to do flashlights, and they don't do them. And then you turn around and be like, hey, that, can you, if you're a woman, can you light the red one for me? And then the red one lights up. And exactly as Bill says there, how else does that happen?
Right.
If you're this, like the blue one. If you're this, like the red one. Can you confirm that for me by lighting the red one up again? And then we've actually gone and switched and said, okay, you've lit the red one up twice. Can you light the blue one up? And have had it happen.
Mhm.
And it's too consistently.
I think because it's also the middle school, also the people or spirits over there or they were, they went to school, they were smart, so they kind of recognize something like that,
Who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
Like I say, and also if you take into account, obviously there's Indian burial mounds that used to be outside,
Yeah. I'll just have to definitely try and get that. See if I can get some, and we'll test it out too. Because I like the flashlight game too. It's
That one's right at your right up your alley, Darren.
yep.
EVP.
Yeah, see, I like EVPs. I go through all my recorder. I only have one. I actually have 2 recorders, technically 3, but I kind of put one away because I'm having too many problems with it. Cell phone towers are just really knocking it
Weird.
we're knocking it weird, and at that point they're not listenable. And then the other one, it works. I hear there's a little bit of a hitch to it, so I just have to. I know that there's that hitch, so I can actually work with that one. I do use Philips recorders. They're the tracers. So if anyone wants to get that, that's what I use. I do have a Tascam DRX05, which I'm having the problems with. So,
I've got a Philips, and it's your fault. And I love my Philips.
I love my Philips. I like the Philips. You and I have the same Philips that we both like. The other one I bought, that one has a little bit of a glitch in it, but I can work with that glitch. But there's another Philips one I like that I want to buy, so I have to wait a little bit on that. Let's see. So from that point, with our experience upstairs on the third floor, then we decided to move around a little bit more. Hi, how you doing? Absolutely. Yeah. Whatever you need help with, we can help you with that stuff.
I'll have to watch that. I haven't seen it.
Okay. But so after that, we kind of moved around. Everybody else kind of took a break a little bit. And then, you guys want to talk a little bit before we start talking about the balloon stuff?
I've got nothing else to throw in yet. I hung out for the balloon stuff, so let's just jump to that.
Okay. So, the experiment of the night that we were trying is that we did 2 balloons on tripods with a light inside of them. So, and I've seen a balloon exercise being done on Destination Fear with no lights in them. It was just more or less see if they could move one on command of left or the right or pop it, whatever. So I'm like, okay, this is an interesting experiment. Let's try it though. Let's bring it to real life, real places, and we're not on a show or anything like that. Let's try it. And so we started off in the cafeteria, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So we started off at the cafeteria. We had 2 balloons, one on each side, and then we had the was it the
Eddie.
what?
Eddie
Huh?
Eddie was on the floor in between them.
Okay, yep. We had the Eddie on the floor, and the Eddie was getting hits.
Yeah.
So, and it's just kind of, we had the recorder going, we had a spirit box going at the same time. I think we had Spirit Talker,
I don't know.
or
I think so.
I had the Oculus sitting on, like, next to me.
okay. So I think we were in there for what, 15, 20 minutes?
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, they were trying hard. I think they were trying real hard to get the balloons to light up. So if you run past them with the wind and they move, the lights will go off. Or if you touch them and just bang them around, the lights will go off. So we decided to, I think at one point, I think one of the spirit boxes that we had running said to go upstairs, correct?
It did.
So after that, I think we said, okay, let's do that. Let's pack it up. Let's go upstairs and see what we can get out of it. Again, I think we went to the 3rd floor.
3rd floor, yep. Right in the center.
So we did that. It was trying really hard. It got really interesting up there as well. Nothing. We didn't get anything to move. We didn't get anything to. The Eddie went off again in there a few times. The balloons didn't really do much. And then we went into music room, correct?
Did we take him to the music room?
I think we went to the music room.
Yeah. At that point, my brain was tired.
Like, because I was getting tired. He was yawning.
I was getting tired, yeah.
Like, I remember sitting on the chair, I think, opposite for you, Darren.
Yeah. I was kind of like more in the middle, but off to the right a little bit.
I'm sitting there like this, I'm like, okay, you're asking a question, I'm asking a question, Kat's asking something, I'm like that, I'm like, oh dear, I need to move a bit to try and wake up,
Right. I mean, at that point, we were all getting pretty tired, and I think Kat noticed I was getting really tired because he was seeing the way my eyes were.
We just get done with Edinburgh Manor, we were running right into that, we're starting to get like flatline, like
yeah.
Just take like 15, 20 minutes, go outside, get some fresh air. Yeah,
right. But it's
go,
right. Now, who the spirits were coming in, Kat? Do you remember what spirits were coming in?
You were out of it. I was out of it.
Yeah, I was getting to be out of it too because I was
like,
bad.
They just hit a flatline stage on like Manor, they had the haystack soon. Like, I believe, did we not finish up after that?
Yeah, we finished up after that. Yeah.
Really after the balloons, we had the balloons down in the gym at the end, and at one point we had one of the balloons lighting up in the gym, but we didn't know if it was a matter of like a malfunction of the light or if something was actually lighting it up. I remember.
Yeah, my eyes are bad.
I know, we were like just like, oh flatline now. I don't think we can take one there. You know, like we have to sleep for an hour or two at least. You know.
Well, the night before I was up till 5 a.m. and then we go here,
Everywhere.
and then after that, then we get here, and then it's like almost like 3 a.m. I think it was. I think it was 3 a.m. at that point, and then I was just done.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, back to back is tough, but it's fun
It
to
is.
try to push your limits because you're in a different state. If
Right.
we would have done those two locations opposite, I think Edinburgh would have been nasty to us.
Yeah, I think it would be too.
With our guard down, it would have been a very different picture if we would have flopped it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna go back to John's question. He said Spirit Box has so much hiss. Don't any have like a squelch control? So this is actually what we use the most now, John. It does the same thing where it's doing the radio sweep like the Spirit Box, but it actually has two settings on it, and one is noise canceling, like a noise gate guitar pedal, but different, but very similar to that. And then the other one is actually a reverb, which gives a slight echo to it. So instead of the static, it's on, and you only get like little clips of sound. This should hopefully not talk in my house, but it's very possible that it will because it does sometimes.
I hope it doesn't.
Oh, yeah, it does. We have stuff talk here. But
Yeah,
like,
it would have.
instead of having all the noise, John, this allows us to not have the static sound. There's our gentleman.
So this is the app that I like to use. I like to use Spirit Talker.
Yeah.
It's only a $4 app on iOS or Android. So
I still
just so you,
but we're gonna get there someday.
but I mean that app and Kat can will agree that this app has been more than enough on par. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hey, Bon.
And yeah, that app has been so on key that it's been the best $4 I've ever spent.
I'm still like in awe of the fact that it's so accurate to the moment. You know, we even had when we were, I don't even remember which part of Brodhead we were at, but like the responses were like, how did that like actually come through? But then, you know, that's how we feel when we're using the other devices and stuff comes through. But so many of the phone apps just don't do it for me. I literally am like, well, I can, you know, there's one where it's supposed to be like a radio sweep that there's not a link for buying that one online, but there's a gentleman in California whose name is Rob Hernandez. He is the maker of the RTC or Ghost Box. I think he's still making them. If you message my page at Paranormal Exposures, then I can possibly get you.
We have the parental advisory.
So.
The cool thing, John, is you know, I know about you watching Zach, but if you watch a show just solely for seeing the locations that they go to, that can be a cool thing because you are then now seeing locations you might not have heard of.
Right.
Which is a cool thing, and then you get to research it, and that's why I like watching it. You know, they go to a location, it's like, oh, I never heard that before.
Yeah, Ghost Hunters is the same thing. I mean, they got cool locations.
And I kind of like that thing, you know.
Right.
If you get by the you know, as many people probably call it drama thing, you know, you're actually seeing a authentic location that's haunted that you've never seen before, that nobody would have access to, and that's a kind of cool thing.
Right.
It's getting, you know, that hour and a half time to watch it and see what they get, and if it's on for further investigations. And we like your spirits swearing, Bill, because this is cool. It's swear.
It's original.
Why
not? So, other than that, I mean, like I said, both nights success. Bill, your place is amazing.
Bill has a treasure there that has to be kept a treasure. It really has to be kept a treasure.
That's just the link to Rob. So that's
okay.
No other building that I've ever been to that's a haunted location, unlike Brodhead, where I can walk away by myself and feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not saying anything bad about any other location. You know, but Brodhead is just something there's something really different about there.
Yeah, it's a special place. The more you go, the more the spirits are going to know you. The more it's going to react to you and give you more stuff what you're looking for.
And the more they'll get comfortable around you, and the more comfortable that you yourself will feel walking around, investigating by yourself,
And there's so many spots to go to too.
Yep, exactly. So if somebody says to you, Edinburgh Manor, hey, can you do a solo in the basement? You're probably going to say, no, I don't feel comfortable. At Brodhead, sure, where you want me to go?
Right.
I can go butt naked if you want,
No.
That place is with Edinburgh Manor, I would do that butt naked.
What do you think about that, Felix? Butt naked?
Felix is in.
And the thing is, part of that feeling, that kind of thing there at Brodhead is solely due to Bill and his partner Ron doing a lot of work there.
No.
It's due to Ron and Bill doing the also some of the restoration work that they're doing. They're changing it in the haunted, like a hunt for also Halloween season. But
Oh yes.
the fact that they respect the spirits that are still lingering there, they give them the proper due. They try and change it up a little bit, but not too much.
You're investigating, Bill?
And
He's streaking through the building as we speak.
That's a good existence between the living and the spirit said they have this mutual agreement,
Right.
I think we're working it well there. And that's what makes Brodhead a unique location to go to. Especially for anybody starting out. Anybody that's starting out.
So I'm actually having a laugh because the closed captions on my phone of watching our video and what William is saying and what this thing is picking up are very different.
Anybody, I'm trying to keep this as a professional, guys. Anybody who's starting out the paranormal, like if you're like green and you're starting out looking for locations to go to investigate, whether it's for yourself or whether it's for anything else.
Right.
Look at Brodhead Manor. But just be respectful when you're in there.
Yeah, respectful for both locations. No matter where you go, what you do, be respectful. And Kat has an idea for a show, closed captions with William.
It's gonna fail miserably because I'm watching this here, and somewhere he said the word Joey, and according to the captioning, and he never said Joey. So
that's because it's in your name. Scumbag.
I think closed caption with William would be a great show.
We'll make that work. At some point, we'll make that work. That'd be funny.
A Christmas show, how's that sound? Merry Christmas, you scumbags.
So, at this point, I think we're all,
We forgot one last thing.
Yeah, what about those cigars you left?
Let's just bring this point in real
Oh,
quick.
yeah, that's right. Okay, so the next day, as we all get up, I thought, okay, I have 2 Swisher Sweet cigars that I brought along for just for giving, for respect and whatnot. So we went to that room where the tunnel is down the basement. Let's see here.
The boiler room has that little room with the stairs. Like
Yeah.
Can't get in the stairs.
Right. And so we took the cigars, and William told me about the cigars last night. And we set the 2 on the step. And what we did is like, okay, well, out of respect,
Thank you, Bill.
see, and we went in there, we put it in there, we started talking, out of respect, say, hey, I'm leaving a peace offering, here you go, here's the cigars, thank you for your time, we had a great night, whatnot, and it just left it at that, and it was, what was it, like 11:30 in the morning?
Which was prior to us all leaving.
Yeah, so we're all getting ready to leave, and I go to William and says, "Hey, let's go back down and see if the scars are gone, because like I have a feeling like a scar's gone." So
And Mass was like, "Nah, I don't think we should push this because we pushed it the night before." But at the same time, I like the idea, like, go to the general guy and be like, "Hey, this is a personal message for you. Like, we are going to be leaving soon. I know a lot of people come through this building and probably say goodbye to the spirits in general to the building, you know?
yep, I do that every once in a while. Yep.
Does anybody say anything personal for him? Because they know he's grumpy, they know he's very, physical, so to speak.
Hmm.
Does anybody approach him and say, "Hey, you know what? We appreciate your time. Can we say goodbye to you, just you?"
Right.
We're probably scared to do that because they know he can get physical.
Right.
Like, okay, we should do that,
So we went back, and so I went and I knocked on the door, and just to say, "Hey, we're coming in."
Right?
And soon as I open the door, also hears "Wheat, bang."
You
I'm like,
owned it. Well, you owned it and you were shining the flashlight for your phone where you left the cigars, remember?
"Uh huh."
And they were still sitting there, the two of them. And you're like, "Oh, they're still sitting there." And you were saying something. I was like, "Okay, so I'll just say goodbye to him, And you're talking and I'm talking and we hear that sound. And it's kind of like a cross between a tap and a bang. It was like two sounds put together and we're like, it's right in front of you. So like, okay, sorry, we're done.
we looked at each other. "Okay, goodbye." Shut the door, and we both bolted out of there so fast.
Halfway in the room, I'm like, wait,
What
Like-
just happened here?
dinosaur.
And as we're walking, William says, "Not a word. Don't say a word."
I don't say anything to Bill, because otherwise, like, I know he has to deal with his building, and if it's something to get mad and might get mad at him,
Right.
nothing. We walk back into the gym, and Bill's on there, Kat's on there, Heidi's there. Me and you walk in, Kat's looking at me, Bill's looking at us, and we're standing there like a statue.
I was like, "Oh my god." And then of course I'm like, and Bill was driving me up to Watertown to meet with my wife, and I'm like, along on the drive, I'm like, "Bill, I have to tell you something." And I turned around, I had to tell him right away because it's like I can't keep this in because it's like that was just too much. I'm like, "No, Bill's got to know this."
And we're standing there like, how'd it go, guys? Oh my god, the sound it made though in there was like weird. Like it was between like a bang and a tap.
Yeah, it was quick. It was quick.
It was like, and it was so loud that it sounded like it was far away but close as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dude's like, nah, homie, I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's time to go.
We were like, okay, we'll shut the door down there halfway to the room. I'm like, wait a minute.
It's nice knowing you, buddy.
Yeah. We just that was cool though, and what a way to end a perfect 2 days.
It was an awesome weekend.
So definitely, like I said before, if you're doing an investigation back to back, just know that you're going to be worse for wear towards the end, because a pair of hangover is real.
Yeah,
I think it's funny because we had a post on that and somebody was like, "No, I think that's actually inaccurate," and I'm like, "Wow."
No.
I did walk by the second day, but I generally manage really well. Like again, I was the driver from one to the next, and then about the object, I don't remember the object.
But well, also easy. As the older you get, the easily tired you get.
Now I
Right.
have questions.
So like by the time I get to like 2 a.m., I'm like I'm like I said before, I'm starting to flatline. Like I need to sleep.
What was
Yeah.
If I
Oh
try,
no, I know what you're talking about. No, we are not going to discuss that. We're leaving that one private.
if I try to get it to like 4 or 5 days.
Oh yeah, that will keep private. Um,
But the cool thing is, if you're at Broadhead and you get to crash, and like if Bill lets you crash there, like he
Mhm.
lets you crash there, take it up. Take the time to sleep for a couple of hours.
See here, I thought I was losing my mind because I'm like the object.
I
You know,
knew what he was talking about.
It's so much more than an object.
And I can't stress enough for people who are either watching this or decide to watch after we're done with this, that Broadhead, if you go there for investigation, is such a cool place. The owners, some of the nice people you ever meet, they want to meet you, they want to talk to you and sit with you and get to know you. Take that hour or 2 hours before you investigate, sit and talk to them.
And not only that, but they're very invested in knowing what you're getting on the investigation. They're actually like fully interested in what did you get, what did you capture, because it affects their living there.
Mm-hmm.
They live there off and on, maybe long term, like permanently if they get it all sorted out. But it's different when it's their living quarters. For me, the other example is you look at Farrar Schoolhouse, and they live on site.
Yep.
But they don't invest in the interaction with you.
Nope.
Like Bill and Ron have. And it's because Bill is very connected with not just his building, but with he cares about the spirits that are there.
Yeah, it's such a helpful tool.
Yeah. And he wants to know how they interact with you. And because, if they're doing that, maybe the next group that comes in can try something that can, get more.
Mm-hmm.
It's 28 days has nothing on me. I don't think you're in a demonically possessed location either, Bill.
And I have not watched that show yet, so.
It's an interesting show. You should. If you haven't, you should.
I'm waiting for it to come on my TV app. I got rid of Netflix because I had to make some cuts, so I cut Netflix.
And if you get to meet Bill's partner Ron, right? If you get the rare opportunity to meet him, Ron absolutely loves candles. So if you want to get him his good side, bring him a candle.
Bring Ron a candle.
Doesn't matter which kind of candle. I don't really think so.
Jar candles, the smelly.
5 years and counting. See, there you go.
Which kind of smelly candle it is, as long as it's a candle.
Yeah, he seems to have a good love of candles.
Bring this fine gentleman a candle, and he will probably love you forever.
So John had something he was talking about here.
So absolutely, I know I have experienced all of that. One of the things that we have very often at Edinburgh Manor is the upstairs side stairwell door slamming, and the back door has slammed. I've had doors open. The other day I was there, I actually did cleaning. I put all of my cleaning supplies away, and then I get upstairs on the tour, and the closet door is wide open, and I know I've closed it. There's a lot of things. Brodhead, I haven't had any of my own personal experiences with that, but I've only been there 3 times.
The interesting thing with that is when me and Darren did the Janitors Room the first time we were there, the EVPs that Darren was sending me, we were hearing things clattering and throwing in the background. So I'm like, we never heard that the first time.
Yeah.
So you hear it in the recordings, but you don't hear it real time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And especially with people were walking up and down the stairs on the metal steps. Mm-hmm. We didn't hear any of that.
That time there was nobody else there.
Yeah, I mean nobody was there. So.
We actually at Edinburgh one time, a few investigations ago, but we were doing a session in the basement dining hall, and one of our cat balls literally got kicked by something.
It was me.
Because no, nobody was anywhere near it, and it rolled a good 7-8 inches from where it started. It lit up and rolled, and we were like, it's been sitting there for 15 minutes and nothing has touched it. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay. Addie was very sad with the time that she was at Brodhead that she didn't get to watch the Spirits eat her popcorn. I will say that. We put a plate of popcorn up on the stage, and she says, "How will I know when they eat it?"
Right.
We did have a cat up there. Yeah, we had the tripwire up on the stage in the gym 2 times ago, and had all kinds of lighting up on the stage in the gym. It was fantastic.
Well, definitely, like I said, we're gonna have to plan another back-to-back once, because I gotta get used to doing back-to-backs every once in a while. And we're gonna have to.
Or
Excuse me, we're gonna have to plan it.
Brodhead.
What's that?
A 2-night at Brodhead.
Yeah.
Plenty of space to have them have that happen. So.
Well, then we'll work that out.
Bill could pitch you to work during the day in between instead of sleeping, so that you can be like completely mentally drained.
Right. Working and growing at the house. Oh, at the boilers. Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll work something out. We'll get that all scheduled up, and because I definitely want to do 2 nights at Brodhead. I think that'd be amazing.
I think it would be too.
I'm curious how different the night 1 will be versus night 2. And I want to lay on that embalming table. I have not done that yet. So I'm gonna do it. And plus, now that my phone works way better than my tablet, so I can go live a lot more on my phone.
I think that we should not only have you lay on the embalming table, but I'm sure with Brodhead being a haunted house also, that they have some form of restraints. I think we should like strap you to that table, and then we can just leave you there.
We could try things, yeah.
I kind of saw why they like.
Yeah, see,
All of you, see.
table, and you can take it. That could be your sleeping quarters.
Yeah, why not?
In the nice room with the beds, and you can sleep on the embalming table downstairs all by yourself.
I saw why Dave.
The bad thing is I do roll. I sleep.
Chains.
That might be a little bit of a hard fall.
Well, if you're chained to it, then you're not going anywhere. That's why I'm throwing you down.
Well, that'll be interesting. We'll work on something like that, because I'm up for it.
For Darren, I think this is going down the right path.
Straight jackets. Oh God. Well, I might go nuts in straight jackets. I don't know how well I'll handle that. We could try it, but I don't know how well I'll handle it.
I'm confused. You might go nuts. I thought we were already there.
Well, some people shackles.
I'm starting to wonder if these are like haunted house props, or if there's some kind of other things going on at Brodhead Manor.
Now we're getting deep here. Now you started to bring up shackles. I mean, oh my goodness. What's the app again? Oh, Spirit Talker.
Spirit Talker, yeah.
Yeah, not Ghost Radar. Not Ghost Radar. That's that's for fun and games.
Brodhead is a good place to go to.
Torture chambers. See, they've got you set, Darren. This sounds like a week investigation for you.
I may never be the same.
Doesn't like actually spend a week at Brodhead and actually spend the whole 7 days investigating.
Darren's doing 28 days at Brodhead Manor, but he's going to be restrained.
Well, shit, there goes that vacation for a year. Oh, man. But, I mean, like I said, we got to get everything all planned up. We'll get stuff rolling for next season. What do you got going? Speaking of that, what do you got going up for the next, for the end of your season?
We just have Edinburgh Manor this
right.
Sunday. We're looking at doing a few more somewhere in there. We want to fit Granger House in. We haven't set that up yet.
I think Horridge is somewhere.
Horridge House might be a winter thing for us because it's not hard to do.
Right.
We did it in February last year, and it was great. We had no issues with that. Little chilly, but they have heat in the one room, and you kind of just take the heater with you in some of the other spaces. But yeah, so official finish of this year, we've got Edinburgh Manor on the 11th. I think that's Friday's date is the 11th.
That's Friday.
And we'll be there. We actually have a large team coming in. We have 7 of our team. Anytime. he's gonna let us go in the winter. You're gonna let us go in the winter, Bill.
I thought you were closing after November, Bill.
Just picking on him.
But when you let us coming up, just to like help you clear up the place. So
Okay, after weather holds. Okay.
But yeah, so we've got, I think it's your guest for Monday, Denise Flood, is going to be out
Yes.
with us. She is not, we investigated with her at the Horridge House event in September. We did 4 locations in one night.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we did that. So we invited her along to Edinburgh at that investigation when we were there in September. So we've got her coming. We have Jessica Stanley and her friend Amy, she's kind of pseudo team for us. Jessica's the one that was running the investigations at the Boone County Historical Society. Unfortunately, they're not doing investigations at this time because they've shut those down for now. But she got hooked on investigating when we went to our first investigation there. She's normally like just the caretaker, so she would come in and be like, yeah, I'm going to sit down and be in the basement. If you need anything, I'm just here to make sure that everything's okay. And I'm like, oh, well, can you give us a tour? And she's like, yeah, we can give you a tour. So she walks us through. She's like, the only place I'm not comfortable in the whole building is that attic space on the 3rd floor. I'm like, I'm sorry, did you just say you wanted to do a solo session? And she looked at me and her eyes were like, wait, what? And I'm like, no, I'm serious. I would love to put you solo in there with some equipment and see what you get. And
Right.
fascinating because she has questions that are related to the location that I would never think to ask because she works there as a volunteer and she was the president of the board when we first met her. She was president of the Historical Society. She did phenomenal. And so the next time we booked it, we're like, well, you're coming, right? And she's like, yeah, I wouldn't miss it for a thing. And then, the next thing you know, she came out and did Brodhead with us. And now she's going to hit Edinburgh Manor with us for the end of the season.
Awesome.
But we've been planning that with her for 6 months. 6 months planning to get her out there. We were talking about it a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine, Tori, that I met through an event at Edinburgh, we've been talking a lot, and she is a medium and a very good one. And so I'm having her come out as well, just to see if we connect again, like we connected at the last time that I worked with her. So
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So stay tuned and watch Facebook Live next Friday.
And Short Bus is there tonight, so.
So, other than that,
at Brodhead in a heated room.
Yeah, there you go. Like I said, the invitation's there, so now we just gotta make good on it and get some things scheduled. Yeah. And then my team wants to get there too. They've been wanting to get to Brodhead. I know Michelle really wants to get there. Scott has not been there yet, so that'll be fun to have him there.
Yeah.
So, and my wife has been there too, so she loves Brodhead and all that stuff. So far as like she mentioned, this coming up Monday night, I'll be having Denise Flood on with us with her sister. So that'll be fun. And, I want to talk to her because we talk about EVPs and stuff like that. We exchange EVPs and whatnot. So she knows all about that stuff really well. And then Friday, I don't know if I'll have a show or not Friday night. We'll see. If I do, it'll probably be a 3 to 4 o'clock type deal again. 2 to 3. Just a random question of the day type deal. I haven't done many of those lately. And then Saturday, the 12th, we'll be at the Washara County Historical Museum. First off, this will be a noon to 8 o'clock investigation on the 12th.
I love that.
We'll start the first thing will be at the Ed Gein Cemetery, Plainfield. Was it Plainfield? Yeah, Plainfield Cemetery. We'll start up there for maybe about an hour or so, and then we'll move to the schoolhouse, which is only operated by a generator only, and we'll do that for about an hour. And then the rest of the time, we'll be over at the museum. So you can get just as much stuff during the day as you can during the night, so don't bank on night investigations all the time. And
noise interference, I think, is the reason that people stray from day. But as long as you're managing your area well, I mean, we get really great stuff in the day. So.
Right. Because I think that's just as important. I mean, even Bill says his location it goes crazy during the day as well. So that's what we'll be doing on the 12th. And then possibly one more investigation in December at the museum again as well. And we'll close out the year there. And then February, there is. Now, I talked to Lori. I don't know if Lori is still in chat or not. We'll be heading up an investigation on for Valentine's week at the museum. So
I'll be
That-
celebrating my wedding anniversary with this guy.
So that would be that'll be interesting. But I have to get like I said, I got to talk to Lori and get all the details of the one in February.
Sounds good, Bill. Much love.
Adios.
All right, thanks for joining us tonight, Bill. A lot of fun. And have a good rest of your weekend. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then after that, we start gearing up for 2023.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we've got Edinburgh on the schedule for 2023, but that's the only one we've got booked so far. So
yeah. So other than that, that's all we got going on. And like I said, thank you everybody for joining us tonight for an awesome recap show. I must say this was fantastic. I love these shows. I love having William and Kat on, and definitely have to get. We'll have to get Heidi on one of these days. I have to get Kyle on one of these days because
I don't know.
I haven't talked to Kyle yet. So
I don't know if you get Kyle. He's a little camera shy, so
we'll work something out.
he's behind the camera.
Oh, yeah, he is. But we'll work on that. Other than that, like I said, fantastic show. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And
turned up to talk to us and ask us questions and
view William in his dress.
that's the most important part of this show.
hey, we could do a Q&A show.
The Christmas card.
We could do a show with William in a dress with closed captions.
Oh, hell yeah.
Maybe William in a dress, Hi guys, Santa's on his face,
No. No.
Oh, that'll be funny. So, thank you. You guys have been watching the Paranormal Brew and the BB3 TV networks. Also, if you are gracious enough to please go to the MGS Paranormal YouTube channel and give us a like and follow. I greatly appreciate it. All of it. Without you, there's none of this at all. So, I'd like to thank William and Kat Armstrong for Paranormal Exposures being on with the show tonight. And there's going to be plenty of them on here coming up.
And Felix.
And Felix, yes, and Felix. So, what do I usually say? That's Will and Kat. I'm Darren, and I bid you adieu. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you soon. So long, everybody.